Hey everyone, I'm Steve. Welcome back to Kettle Ranch. Today we're going to have a tractor talk video, and we have a lot of noise around us today. I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. The gold mine across the river is starting back up. They're making a lot of noise, and the sheep are in from pasture. That's partly why I'm hiding down here by the river where they can't see me, because they are much louder than the actual gold mine across the river. We're going to look at 3 items around your tractor that are extremely dangerous, and things to think about. You probably, if you've done any farming at all, worked around tractors, already know this stuff. For the novice, I hope you pick up some things, maybe save having an accident or injury or even death while working around a small tractor. All 3 of these items are in no particular order, but they are all deadly, or can be deadly, if not just a slight injury. But things to think about when working around your small tractor. We'll start with the loader. The loader, especially when it's in the raised position, is extremely dangerous. Not only does it have the weight on this particular loader, we're looking at about 1,400 pounds or so, and it is being held up just by hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic fluid that is going through the hydraulic lines into the rams to hold it in that position. These hydraulic lines are made out of rubber and reinforced rubber material. If they fail, if they pop, if something happens down in the valving, the release pressure to the hoses, everything comes down at once. And as quick, can be possibly as quick as what gravity will have it do. We won't get into the physics, but it can kill you and it can crush you. The other thing that is dangerous with the loader has to do with having 2 people working around a tractor, or more than 1 person. So with just 1 person, you're in the cab, you're working with the joystick, and you're safe from anything moving on the tractor. If you're working with help or anyone else around the actual loader, not only hitting them with it, which would be bad, but also crush points. There's a lot of crush points in here, like I'm doing. I'm sitting here with my thumb between the brace on the self-leveling and the actual arm. Well, if this was to move all of a sudden, I could get squished and maybe lose a whole thumb. If not, it's going to hurt like heck. All right, something to be very wary of. Now, the least damage that can happen, mucking out the sheep's pen, mucking out the horse pen. There's crap on the bucket. It's gonna go somewhere with gravity. If you walk underneath it, it's not good news. So, look at your front tires on your tractor. Think about that out the width of the bucket, and then out in front of that a little bit. That's really the hazardous zone. If I want to work on my tractor, on the engine compartment, actually Coyote, and I know there are many other brands that do the same thing, they have metal braces that go in here. It's like a splint in a way. If it's in place, it holds the whole weight of the arms, so that if it does fail, it doesn't go anywhere. It's being held up by the metal inserts. Real simple to put in and out. I should have brought them with me. My apologies. Maybe I'll get a picture of them and include that up here. Okay, those are the most obvious problems with working around the loader. If you have any comments, any questions, any near misses, any actual real life stories, please put them in the comments. I want to start hearing from you guys. We're pushing 100 subscribers now, and I want to hear what's going on outside in the outside world. I live in my own little ranch and don't get out of town that much. Let's hear what you guys are up to. Next in the list of dangerous items on your tractor is back at the 3-point hitch. The 3-point hitch has a lot of things that can happen here. Not only do we have the raising and lowering valves, once again, we're hydraulic, remember. Valves can fail. If the valve fails, then all of a sudden you lose pressure in the lifting rams. That's a lifting ram there. There's another one there. and all the weight of your implement's going to drop. This is about a 600-pound back blade that I have on right now. If my foot was underneath the blade when it dropped, I could not only break bones, but possibly even lose part of my foot. So the type of implement can be very dangerous right off the bat. I don't have the sickle bar mower hooked up. Obviously, it's the wrong time of year. But the sickle bar has blades on it. Holy Moses, if that thing goes and starts up, if that falls on you, all sorts of problems, you can really get some serious damage. The list goes on and on, specific for every implement out here. If it hooks up to the PTO, it's even more dangerous. The PTO shaft hooks up right here. When that shaft is hooked up and operating, it's spinning at 540 RPM on the actual shaft itself. If you have a U-joint go, if you have anything attached to it break apart or it comes unhooked, then you can have a lot of metal flying, and that's dangerous. If you get hit with that, lose an eye, other damage is definitely possible. Be very careful with that. In fact, it has, you can't see it from there, but there's a big warning sticker right on the back here about the PTO. Another item which has caught me that a lot of people don't think about, that has to do with your stabilizing arms. Both of the lifting arms on your PTO have a stabilizing arm to keep either to set the implement out at one angle or another, or to keep it directly behind the top link. This is called the top link here. If those have failed in any way, there's so many different designs, I can't really go into those. But if you have them, a lot of times I won't have them, the pins in to lock them, and I want to get it directly behind my top link, say here, the center of the back blade. If I raise this, because obviously I can't move this when it's on the ground, this can move back from side to side towards one tire or another. If your leg, now notice I'm not between the tire and the 3-point here, hopefully it shows, between the lifting arm. If your leg is between there, you can have it slide against you and pin you. That would be bad. If you have other implements like the sickle bar mower, which can slam all the way forward up against the tire, not only possibly damaging the tire, but obviously if your leg's in there, a hand's in there, you try to grab it real quick, your fingers, you can get caught on those sharp blades. Hopefully you're keeping your blades sharp on your sickle bar, and you can do damage that way. Try to avoid that as much as possible. One other thing with your 3-point that a lot of people don't really think about checking every time they use it, especially like on the back blade, when that's hooked up for a couple months at a time before I'll move it, is before you use it, check your connections. So I have a hitch pin in here. That one has actually fallen out before. You can see it's rotated around. It's on facing down. There's one on this side, and then you have a cotter pin on top, on the top link. And you have another hitch pin here. All of those have to be hooked on. They do work loose, they can fall off, and it's not a good thing when they do, because then you lose control of your implement or your attachment, and that's bad. Let's move on to the third and final thing that I think is very dangerous with your tractor. Okay, now we're at the third item, and quite honestly, I should get nominated for Academy Award for this. Some minor things to look at first, and something else I want to mention. When you're storing your tractor, you're not operating it, put your loader down on the ground. That's the safe way to do it. And put your 3-point, anything, attachments, implements hooked onto the 3-point, go ahead and drop those down on the ground so that kids playing with it, animals, anything else, if it should lose pressure, it won't crush something you don't want crushed. Think about both of those items sort of like a firearm. Don't point it at anything you don't want to destroy, that's for sure. The third item, the 2.5 item, is stuff on the floor in your tractor. Look at all those pins. Yep, that is a hazard, just getting in and out. And I've tripped up before. I haven't broken any glass yet, but I've heard of people slamming doors against a pin that slid and you lose your door and the glass in it. Not good. That's an expensive mistake. But finally, without further, the third, after you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button and ring the notification bell, the third item, 3, I'm cold, it's getting wet, is the emergency brake or parking brake on your tractor. Don't trust them. I have never seen one of any age at all that has been trustworthy and potentially not hazardous, especially if you're not on absolute flat ground, say in the middle of Oklahoma or somewhere like that where there's no hills, it's just flat plains, farmland. Anywhere else, any kind of incline, I turn the engine off and I put it in gear, either forward or reverse, depending on which way the tractor is pointing on the hill. They keep the tractor from rolling off of the engine. The other things you can do is, in this particular time, I have the back blade on. You can use that as a brake. With the loader on, you can put the loader down on the ground. That will help brake the tractor also. All the close calls I've had have been because I've been lazy. Say I see a pole on a field and I'm coming through with a swather and I have to move it. Something foreign in the field has to get out of the way. To stop, hop out, throw it aside, go ahead and continue swathing. That's one thing. If you're on a steep hill and you put your trust in the emergency brake and you have the engine running on the tractor, you don't want to shut it down because it is hot. You need to have it cool down before you shut it down. At least you should. To get out, to run, grab that item, throw it out of the way of the swather, then turn around and see the whole thing coming downhill at you because the brake has failed. That has happened to me. Luckily, I hit the step that I'm kneeling on right now and got onto the tractor and got in before we went through a fence line without getting ran over by the swather. These are 3 things in this tractor talk that are extremely dangerous and you should be aware of before operating your tractor. I hope you found value in this video. We got a ton of stuff coming up. Holy Moses. I have been so busy on the ranch that it's hard to get the camera out and do videos, but we have a lot more coming up, quite a backlog. Please stay tuned. Hey, take care, stay healthy, stay safe. See you next time.